spokesman of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, joins me on the program to give an update on the activities of the lower chambers of the National Assembly. It's a few weeks to the second anniversary of the 9th National Assembly. How would you say the House has fared in impacting in the lives of the people?
Well, as you know, when we came in, we took a mantra, which was joint tax in nation building. It was not the work of any arm of government, that we should put our hands together to make sure that we'll help push government forward. And that has been sustained over these 2 years. And it has reflected in our speed in passing the budget, which was not how it used to be. A cause for celebration because many people know the impact of a delayed budget. Very soon is going to be a thing of the past that we have delayed passage of budget because of the commitment of the 9th Assembly. We've done it back to back. We did it last year and we repeated it again this time around. And we have shown presence in making sure that the gap between the people and the parliament was reduced. Because what has fueled the misunderstanding, the misrepresentation between the public and the parliament has been due to lack of information. They believe they are not getting enough. It's as if our activities were shrouded in secrecy. Based on that, the House got committed to ensuring that the information gap was breached by using various platforms, one of which was the Green Chamber magazine that was launched a few months after the 9th Assembly came into place. And we have used that Green Chamber to highlight some of the activities of the House. And we have distributed it around the country, all the ministries, all the houses of assembly, all the universities, all the embassies, to tell people what we are doing. And it has helped a long way in ensuring that right information was, taken out there by telling our own stories, not by blowing our trumpet, but saying the things the way they ought to be, and also letting the public know that we've been working with regards to relevant motions and relevant bills. Over 1,267 bills have gone through first reading. About half of that has gone through second reading. And this is the first House to have about 69 bills, pass through third reading within 2 years. We have achieved that. And we've made sure that the concerns of Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora, was our major concern. Recently, people felt that the Parliament was not interested in diaspora issues, but that is not the truth, because not too long ago, we were in Ghana, where we went to use legislative diplomacy to find a solution among the challenges Nigerians were facing there. And if you may recall, not too long ago, when the pandemic started, I was the one who raised the motion that Nigerians in diaspora, especially in China, should be brought home. The parliament was a bit hesitant, but later on, I brought it back and they passed it. And by then, the executive were already, they already bought into it as a good idea. So if we didn't care for the diasporans, we wouldn't be interested in what was happening to them, even in the face of the pandemic. We have shown interest as well. During the pandemic, we are the only parliament in the world that donated our salaries, 2 months' salaries, to help what government was doing. We should consign. That was the human face of the parliament. It has never happened before in the history of the world. We've tried as much as possible to give collaboration, not really cooperation, but collaboration with the other arms of government to ensure that they achieve the government policies. Because though we are 3 arms of government, It is our belief that we are one government. So when one is sick, the other one will be affected. Oversight function, yes, was affected by COVID, but we'll try to make the best use of it. We have also introduced the electronic parliament. We installed systems that had reduced the use of papers and all the rest of them carried to the National Assembly during our sittings. We have everything captured in the little tablet in front of us now.
The Speaker assured Nigerians that the Petroleum Industry Bill will be passed in April, and April is already here. How close are we to seeing this bill become law?
Well, I want to assure Nigerians that we are very committed to the PIB, very committed. As I speak to you, a certain group of the House that involved in this PIB, they're also meeting somewhere outside the country now, doing deep diving on the content of the bill. We have gone through almost the 9 years of making the bill become an act, and there is a great cooperation or support from the executive. Previously it was a private bill, but now it is state-sponsored bill, and although it's state-sponsored, it doesn't mean it will just pass through the House without us pruning it to reflect the wishes, the desires, the hungers, the needs of our people, especially the host communities and also the IOCs, the ability to balance the expectation of the IOCs and also the host communities will be able to help us achieve what the intention of the PIB is all about. So based on that, it is the Parliament that will harmonize these interests. And that is what we are trying to do. Yes, granted that the executive have sponsored the bill down to us, but not conceding that every word mentioned in that bill is supposed to pass through to become an act. We are pruning it to make sure it reflects the desires of the people. You saw during the public hearing that the host community that we are fighting, that means there was something worrying them, there was something bothering them. And it is our duty as a parliament to find out that which was pinching them and how to resolve it, to cushion it, because they are Nigerians and the agitation and their complaints should be taken into consideration by the parliament. That is what we are currently doing. And the IOCs also, we need to balance our legislation in a way that our country becomes competitive and not less competitive when you compare it against, when you draw a comparative analysis with other countries around the continent that have also gotten oil and gas. Gone were the days when Nigeria was the king of oil and gas, and others did not find oil and gas around them. But with new technology innovations is springing up everywhere around the continent. Now the question becomes the investors. Since we don't have all the money to fund it, the investors want to make sure that the return on investment is also comparatively better, competitive, more competitive than other places. That will influence their desire to bring in their fund. So that means the tax regime and other things that we're going to put in place must reflect that competitiveness that will make them stay here and not move to nearby countries. So in order to tidy all those things to make sure it will become a win-win for every stakeholder in that particular sector, we are spending time on it. As per the timeline, I know that it will not pass this year. Even if we don't get it in April, I know it will not pass this year.
The Speaker recently set up a security committee. Can you give us an insight into the work of that particular committee?
Thank you very much. Like I said, the mantra, the philosophy of the House is that national issues should be handled jointly. And it takes every hand being on deck for us to get the country to the place we want the country to be. This is a new dispensation. The coming of the new service chiefs means a new era, and it ushers a new hope, a new expectation, a new way of doing things. And we are not going to isolate ourselves based on our leadership philosophy of joint task. We're going to participate in this new era, new dispensation, new ideas of securing the country, which is the primary purpose of government, the security of lives and properties and the welfare of citizens. It is a responsibility not only on one arm of government but on the three arms of government. Therefore, in the wisdom of the leadership of the House, they felt that it was high time we stood up with our own strategy that will add value to what these new chiefs are out to do. So on the 17th of March, the Speaker announced this security committee. And the question has been, what are they expected to do? If you look at the membership of the committee, how it was constituted, you find out that the leadership of the House were automatic members of that committee. And beyond that, about extra 30, which reflects about 1 per state in the entire 36 states of the Federation. The purpose of doing that is to ensure that we go down to our various states to analyze, to do the needs analysis, security needs analysis of our various states. As you know, the security challenges of this nation varies from place to place. They are unique in different parts of the country. They are not same. What is happening in South is a little different from what is happening in Southeast. What is happening in Southeast is much different from what is happening in the Northeast. And you can go on and on. Therefore, a single formula for securing the lives and properties of Nigerians may not work across board. Therefore, the uniqueness of our different situation calls for an intervention that will be tailored according to the needs of the people from the various geopolitical zones. It is these states that make up the geopolitical zones. And that is why the Speaker and the leadership of the House carefully selected the people from different states who will now go down to draw up what we call stakeholders intelligence lists, stakeholders administration lists, stakeholders information lists. The purpose of that is to engage with all the stakeholders, from the faith-based organization to the traditional rulers, to the civil society organization, to the youths, to the women group, and then you go down to the traders, the market women, all these stakeholders in the state. You engage them to find out, what do you think, including the security agencies around the states. They are going to interact with them, interview them, find out actually what is their problem, what is the problem, why, what is happening there, and what do they think will bring solution to the insecurity. You'll be surprised that being in the parliament does not mean that we are all knowing. I've said this severally. You'll be surprised that people on the street, they have a lot to offer.
What is the committee's time frame? That's
a good question that you raise. But they are commencing work immediately. When they are winding down is what I'll maybe get across to Nigerians any moment from now. But as soon as we come back from the Easter holidays, their work starts. And the work of the committee is supposed to be urgent because the insecurity is increasing by the day. So the earlier we start working, the better. And many have asked this question of what impact is that going to be for the new era, the new service chiefs. It's going to form the basis for a coordinated relationship with the service chiefs, and a better understanding of the needs of these various zones will inform our knowledge base when they present their needs before the parliament. Having gotten the first-hand information from the various, it will be easier to pass, support to them. It will be easier for us to use legislative intervention to meet their requests. But if they sound so, strange or like a jargon when they make their presentation without us having a first-hand information, it will be difficult to give them the need, to meet the needs they present to us, to give them, to grant their requests. So that is why, this platform is very important in synchronizing the relationship between the service chiefs and the parliament.
Nigerians recently woke up to a very devastating news of an Air Force jet getting missing. What does this say about our current security challenges?
I am happy with what the security chiefs have done so far. One of the things they have done was to learn from the mistakes of the past chiefs. The inability to synchronize their activities, the inability to share intelligence, the inability to work together. I was happy when I heard that all the service chiefs will now be working under the Chief of Defense Staff. Wonderful idea. And I said it when they were appointed, that this team of people, this cream of people, understands themselves better. I have interacted with the Chief of Defense Staff, and he's a very intelligent man, highly educated man, calm and strategic. If you have a flow of command coming from an organogram that has a head, I can assure you that that organogram will have a direction. Now, they will share information together, they will exchange intelligence, and in so doing, believe me, they're going to achieve more. Now, I'm just hearing this now, that this happened within the Air Force. I am sure that we need to do more. It is unheard of. You can see that in most advanced countries, that our monitoring system is not solid enough to pick up aircrafts coming into the country or leaving the country. This is going to fuel insurgency. Our inability to control our borders, our air, our sea, our land borders is a problem. And this is impacting on the increase of insurgency and insecurity. My advice is that the service chiefs should depend more on intelligence than guns. America applied it after the 9/11. And I can assure you that 9/11 would never repeat itself in America. You know why? It's not because of the size of their guns. It was because of their investment in intelligence. So my call to the service chiefs is, having come together to work as one, they should be willing to share intelligence. They should be also willing to have other ones like the police, the DIA, the DSS, the civil defense participate in this information sharing, intelligence sharing, activity. On the insurgency, which is my concern, I'm sure that what disappeared must have disappeared for a reason. And I know external forces are also involved in fueling our insurgency here. My concern and my message has been that we can solve insurgency not only through brute force, we can solve insurgency through intelligence gathering, the ability to use it very well. Having said that, the charge on this new cream of intelligent officers is that they should look at the economics around banditry, the economics around insurgency, the economics around terrorism, to be able to know what is fueling this. What do I mean by the economics? I mean, last time they took 300 students. Buses were used to convert those 300 students. That's economics. Somebody got those buses. Somebody was paid for those buses to convert 300 people. If you use 18-seater buses, you're thinking about 20 buses. Where did they come from? Who arranged them? The economics around that activity is what the service chief should be focusing on. If you cut off the head, the body will not function. If you keep on shooting the legs, the commands will be coming from the head. Even though the leg is weak, they can use the leg of the other or the hand of the other. What the service chief have been doing has been shooting the legs. It is high time they targeted the head. And what I mean by the head, they should trace the money. The economies I'm talking about, where is the money flowing in from? The same way they strategically cut off the flow of funds for the NSATs, which help to end the NSATs. I can assure you, if we apply that strategy, it is going to help us.
Away from security now, let's narrow down the discourse to your constituency. How have your people benefited from your emergence as their representative?
Yeah, my constituency and my constituents, they are very happy with me. They are happy with me because the mandate of the Constitution with regards to the office that they elected me to handle, I have tried diligently to ensure that, I carry them out, from representative function to making of law to oversight function. I don't sit as a spokesperson and I sit in Abuja, and when oversight function is happening, I'm not seen there. I travel around the country when I have the time to support every committee in making sure we ask relevant questions when we go for our oversight functions, and they have seen me doing that. They are impressed with that. They have also seen me moving bills and motion. I'm one of the highest, I have one of the highest number of bills and motion in the House. I'm sure most of you must have seen my, activities in the House. I'm not sleeping in the House. So every day when they hear Benjamin Kalu, I'm from Bende Federal Constituency, I represent the people of Nigeria, starting from Bende, they feel happy that their name, they are heard from time to time. But beyond that, also representative function, which has to do with the needs analysis of your constituents and your constituency, and the ability to present them to the parliament to find solution to their hydra-headed needs. They have seen me doing that. I am not far away from, I just came back from my constituency a few days ago, and I'll be going back maybe in a day or two to meet with them during this Easter period. What have I done? I have tried to find out health sector, what do we need to do there? Education sector, what do we need to do there? Power, what do we need to do there? Water, what do we need to do there? Employment, what do we need to do there? And ecology, what do we need to do there? I can assure you, my people are very happy that one of the all-important road that runs from Umahia through Bende to Ohafia, I really disturb the Minister of Works and Housing, who happened to be one of my best ministers, Fashola. I harass him, I disturb him for almost 1 year, and we got the Federal Executive Council to approve a 12 billion naira road from Umahia to Bende to Ohafia, and they already started doing something about that. And my people are very happy because the economic activities of that place is going to spring up, because the human traffic is going to increase. And we're also doing another road there that links to Akwa Ibom State, between Bende, Titulo, Itumbuzo. It has not been touched in the previous government, even when Jonathan was there, but Buhari's government have helped me to clean the tears of the people there. The same Buhari's government that I'm proud of has helped me ecological problem that was, ravaging houses in a place called Mpa Umumenyi area. I pushed with my first motion in the House in June, when I moved the first motion of the House. That first motion, the ecological department picked it up when it was referred to them, and I really thank them. The presidency, the SGF, I really thank them. They took it up and did the analysis, sent the consultant, they did the analysis, and I just heard that the president has assented to it, and it's about 1.3 to 1.4 billion or thereabout, to be able to, about 11 kilometer roads, doing bridges for them and all the rest of them. We have also gone to education sector. We are doing about 12 schools at the moment. We are renovating some. We are building brand new ones. We also have done education fiesta, where we gathered students from secondary schools, and we try to put up a competition to make them more focused in the academic, and also we gave them an award. We've also given sponsorship, bursary, to 400 students, from the universities. We have also in agriculture trained a lot of people in farming, and we have given them poultries. We gave about 20,000 birds, and we gave about 10,000 sacks of feeding for the birds. I have tried to influence a whole lot of employment for my people, and within these 2 years, you'll be shocked, we have been able to provide job for over 30 people who are my constituents, giving them federal government job, and we're still pushing for more. So that is what representation is all about. It's not about me, it's about the people.